Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Barton.
And I'm Jennifer Ziegler, and we both write books for young people. And we love speaking with other creators of children's literature, particularly about the dedications in their books.
That's what this one's dedicated to is all about. Today, we are joined by our friend Luen to talk about the dedication in his graphic novel, Dragon Hoops. Hello, Gene. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for inviting me onto this conversation. Great to talk to you all.
Welcome, welcome. We're just thrilled to have you here. To kick us off, would you mind reading aloud the dedication in your book?
Sure. So the dedication of Dragon Hoops reads like this. Dedicated to the community of Bishop O'Dowd High School, I will forever bleed black and gold. So Dragon Hoops is my first nonfiction graphic novel, and it tells the story of the basketball team of the high school where I used to teach, and that is Bishop O'Dowd High School.
Well, so as a nonfiction writer, I have a book coming up that I ended up dedicating the book to the subject of the book, but it took me a while, for reasons of objectivity, to get around to feeling okay with that. Did you ever have any, at what point did you decide to dedicate the book to O'Dowd, and did it take some doing to reach that decision?
Yeah, I knew from the get-go that was who I was going to dedicate it to. I was at Bishop O'Dowd High School for 17 years as a teacher, from my early 20s to like my 40s, and out of all of the institutions that I've been a part of, like my own high school, my college, I was there the longest. I've never been anywhere else for 17 years. So that community just really meant a lot to me. And I felt so honored to get to tell a story about that community. I knew from the very get-go that that's who I was going to dedicate it to.
Did your affection for the O'Dowd community, did that shape the way you approach the storytelling?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because the book is about the basketball team, but I taught computer science there, so I largely had nothing to do with the basketball team for most of my years there. There was this, I talk about this in the book, but there was this narrow strip of road right down the middle of campus, and all the athletic stuff is on one side of that road and all of the academic stuff was on the other side of that road. And I almost never crossed that road, but the book is kind of about that. It's about how I discovered in my last year there, I discovered this whole other side of the community, this whole other side of the campus. That's really important to a lot of people there, but just wasn't really important to me as a computer science teacher. And how I kind of got to know the community even more as a whole by getting to know that one piece.
Yeah, it's a lovely metaphor about sort of taking that first step and breaking out of your comfort zone. I'm wondering, who was the first person in the O'Dowd community that you told about the dedication or presented the dedication to, and how did that go?
I think it must have been Coach Lou. Coach Lou is one of the big subjects in the book, right? I profile him and 6 of the players that played for him. He and I, we've been teaching on the same campus for over a decade, but we just weren't really friends because we were on these 2 different sides of the campus. And during that year, I got to know him really, really well. And now we're friends. We text each other all the time. He must have been the first person that I showed that to. And in a lot of ways, I felt like my friendship with him was kind of symbolic of my relationship with the whole community. It's a really, really diverse community. It's right at the foothills of Oakland, California, which is this really diverse town. And I would say that, like, all the different people I met there, I had students from all over the world at that school, and they just really affected me in the same way that my friendship with Lou affected me.
Well, I know that the Dragon Hoops was published right as things shut down in March of 2020. Did that get in the way of your sharing the book with the rest of the O'Dowd community?
I was freaked out about that, you know, because we were entering this global pandemic right when the book was launching. I was actually supposed to go on a 2-week book tour. One of the events, you know, as that was part of the bookstore was this. It was like a book launch party that was supposed to be in the Bishop O'Dowd gym, and it was sad. It was sad that that didn't happen. But we ended up doing a virtual version of it a few months later. And it was great. Like all of the players that I profile in the book, they all came. They're all like adults now, you know, because that's how long it took me to finish this book. It took me 5 years. So they're like 17, 18 when I was following them. And now they're all in their early 20s. They graduated college. So it's great to see them all, you know.
Do you think you'll have a post-pandemic in-person event? Is that something?
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope, is that I'll get to go on campus at some point. I mean, one of the things that I talk about in this book is how crappy their gym is. They have this great basketball team, but they have this gym that was built in the 1950s and never really fixed up since then, right? So they're actually in the process of tearing down and rebuilding that gym and finally modernizing it. So I think when that happens, hopefully we'll get to do something book related in that brand new space.
Well, is there anything else about the book or about the dedication you want to make sure we talk about?
I mean, I just, like I said, I feel incredibly privileged to have been a part of that community for so long, and to also even get to tell a story about. I think it's an extraordinary place. That high school is an extraordinary place. I feel incredibly fortunate to have been a part of them.
It's a wonderful book, and I love how it shows how, you know, there's a lot of discussion about how teachers change students and mold students, but in this book you make it really clear how they have had an effect on you, how that whole community changed you. And it's just, it's beautifully done.
Yeah, you learn so much by teaching. That's one of the best things about being a teacher.
We always start by, actually, one thing we always start with is by doing a screenshot. Do you have a copy of Dragon Hoops handy?
I don't. I don't have it. I'm actually at a friend's house right now. Although maybe they have one. I can ask. You want me to go ask?
Yeah, this would be a good test of your friendship right now.
Okay, yeah. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I do have it. I guess we are good friends.
All right.